When is the right time to have sex with someone new? When this question comes up, we get all kinds of opinions from every extreme of as soon as possible, which in most cases is not very smart, to not until you get married, which in most cases is not very realistic. And if you know me, you know I'm not so much about telling you what to do with your life. I'm more interested in sharing powerful things for you to consider so you can make empowered and confident choices about what to do with your life. And that's what I'm going to do in this video. So without going to one extreme or the other, I'm going to give you some powerful things to consider that can help you make an empowered decision and a confident decision about when you choose to take your relationship with someone to that level. Now, the first thing I want to do in this video is call out a huge misconception that I think so many of us operate from. And I know I operated from this for many years, and it got me into a lot of trouble, as it's probably gotten you into a lot of trouble, and it gets most of us into a lot of trouble. And this is the idea that having sex with someone is a casual act. Now, I understand people do it casually. I'm not saying that it's not done that way, but I'm saying the act itself is not actually a casual act. It's a highly creative act. In fact, if you're interested in consciously creating your ideal partnership, which is what myself and my wife teach us how to do that, you need to look at having sex with someone as a highly creative act that when you choose to do it and how you choose to do it is actually shaping your relationship with that person and will have implications for your future together. Whether your future is together or apart, it's going to have implications for how your relationship unfolds from there. And I think it's really important to say that because so many of us think that we can go and get into bed with someone and that we could choose to not see them again or to see them again or find out where the relationship goes from there, but that us getting into bed with them is not going to have any impact on where things go from there. And it most absolutely is going to have an impact on where things go from there. It's a highly creative act and it shapes your relationship with that person. So you don't want to take it lightly because it is an important decision. And when you choose to go there with someone, it's something that you want to do consciously and intentionally because you want to. Now, a lot of times we think that, well, if I have sex with this person, that's going to make us closer, or that's going to make them want me more, or that's going to bring our relationship closer together. And I want to say that is not true at all. While it is a creative act and while it is a powerful choice to make in a relationship with someone, you can't use sex to deepen your relationship with someone. And a lot of times when we want to get closer to someone, we think, well, let's get in bed with them, let's sleep with them, and that'll bring us closer together. But you can't achieve emotional intimacy through physical intimacy. And a lot of us try to do that. A lot of us say, well, I really want them to like me, so let me sleep with them. That'll make them like me. Or I really want to get close to this person. Let me sleep with them. Then I'll get close to them. That's not actually how it works. What often happens is when you get into bed too early with someone, when you haven't reached a level of emotional comfort with them and you start that physical relationship with them, things can then become really awkward between you because your level of relationship on a physical level has far surpassed your level of relationship on an emotional level. And so you've gone further on this side than you have on this side. And now things get really awkward because you've been so intimate with each other, but you haven't had any real intimacy yet. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of people lose interest after having sex with somebody is because the relationship feels awkward and uncomfortable after that happens. I'm not saying that happens all the time, but it often does happen. So that's one thing I want you to consider is that if you far surpass the emotional growth of the relationship with physical intimacy, that you're going to throw off this balance and the relationship could become awkward and uncomfortable. See, a lot of us think of it like sex is a shortcut. It's like if I want a relationship with this person, if we jump into bed, we can go from here to here really fast. And in one sense you can, but not in a real sense. It's an illusion. It's a false sense. And best case scenario is that you jump from here to here, but then you've still got to come back and do all the work that would have gotten you there naturally. The worst case scenario is that you jump from here to here, and now the relationship is awkward and uncomfortable, and one or both people don't want to keep seeing each other because of that awkwardness and that discomfort. So that's the first thing to consider, is you want to consider that the emotional and relational connection of the relationship should keep pace with the physical connection of the relationship. And if the physical connection far surpasses the emotional relational connection, now you're throwing the relationship off balance, and you're either going to have to come back and rebuild all of that, or you're going to disrupt the relationship and throw it off altogether. So that's the first thing I want you to consider. The next thing I want you to consider is that you can't have sex without having an emotional response to that. And a lot of people will tell you you can, and a lot of people look at it like it's just sex with no strings attached, and let's not let our feelings get involved. Let's just call it what it is. This is just about physical sexual attraction, but it's not limited to that. And the act of sex is an emotional act. When you take your relationship to that level with someone, you become emotionally involved with them, whether you like it or not. And here's the problem, is that we try to tell ourselves that, oh, well, I can go there with someone, and if it doesn't work out, I'll be okay, and I don't have to get emotionally wrapped up. And we try to look at it as though it's a purely physical act, but it's not a purely physical act. Now, I will say this: if you're a sociopath or a narcissist, it might be a purely physical act. If you're somebody who is only interested in taking what you want from someone else and using them for that purpose and then moving on with your life, it might be a purely physical act. So I'm not saying it's not that way for anybody, but I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, the human being who's sensitive, who has a beating heart, who wants authentic love and connection in your life. I'm talking to you right now. And for you, that real life person with a real life beating heart who wants real life love and connection in your life, when you take a relationship to that level physically, there are some emotional strings that go with it. And the idea of no strings attached sex is really a false idea for 99% of the population. So knowing that, I want you to consider, rather than telling yourself, oh, I can do this and not have any strings attached, or oh, I can do this and not feel attached in the morning, or not feel like I want to see that person again, or not cling to that person. Instead of doing that, I think it's a lot more powerful to acknowledge for yourself that when I do that, I do have these feelings. That when I get involved with someone that way physically, these emotional strings attached come with that. And because I'm self-aware enough to know that that happens to me, because I'm self-aware enough to know that when I get involved with someone like that, I'm going to have feelings about it. It's not going to be as easy as just walk away and never look back. I want to be conscious about who I make that decision with, because I don't want to get wrapped up emotionally with someone and then find out later they're a complete jerk, right? Or they're somebody that I don't want to be with. And now I have all this stuff wrapped up in this relationship that I really didn't need. So you want to recognize that when you choose to go there with someone, there is a cost that comes with it. As I said in the beginning, that is a creative act. You are actively creating your relationship with this person by choosing to go there with them. So I would say at a minimum, let's go back to the original question: when is the right time to sleep with someone? Well, I would say at a minimum, you need to get to know this person well enough that you develop some emotional comfort with them. So you can be vulnerable, so you can be authentic, so you can reveal yourself to them a little bit. You're not still trying to put on an act or feel like you have to put on a show. You need to develop some emotional comfort with that person. Let your authentic self out a little bit and be received by them. That's the first thing I would say. The next thing I would say is that you want to trust that person. You want to get an idea of their character. I wouldn't get into bed with someone that you can't confidently say, this is a good and trustworthy person. Regardless of where our relationship goes, whether we end up together or not, I know that this is a good and honorable and trustworthy person. And I would never get into bed with anybody that you can't honestly in your heart say that and feel that about. And just as a general guideline, this isn't me telling you what to do with your life. This is just my own personal thoughts on this. I think it should take at least about a month to develop those two things with someone. To develop enough comfort to let your silly, authentic self out and be received by them, and then to also get enough of an idea of their character and who they are that you would trust them and honestly say, this is a good person that I can count on. I think that takes at least about a month. So those are some things to consider. I hope you found this video helpful. If nothing else that you take from this video, I want you to take this one thing, that choosing to go there physically with someone is a creative act. And choosing to do it too soon could very well mean the failure of the relationship. There is no downside in waiting a little bit and seeing how they respond to you waiting. That can only reveal more about the relationship and about who they are and about how much you can trust them. So do it when you feel is right, do it when you feel is comfortable, and do it consciously. Do it intentionally. Don't just do it because you're pressured or because you want them to like you. Do it because you're making the conscious choice that this is what I want to do because this is how I want to create my relationship with this person. So thanks so much for watching today. If you're struggling with this right now, send us a DM, tell us what's going on. We'd love to chat with you more about it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you soon.